Good afternoon, everyone, and welcome to this afternoon's Free Library of Philadelphia Foundation author event. This is it. You're here. You're in the building for one of the most talked about events of the season. Who's excited to see Governor Josh Shapiro?
Like you, I am very excited that Governor Shapiro chose the Free Library of Philadelphia, the birthplace of our nation, Philadelphia, to launch his book tour. Can we give a thanks to him?
The Free Library is proud to be an anchor of Philadelphia's cultural and civic life across our neighborhood library locations. And here at Parkway Central, we host exhibitions, steward extraordinary collections. Libraries are not just places for books, they are keystones of civic engagement and democratic life.
It is my great pleasure to be here with you today at the Free Library of Philadelphia as we celebrate the launch of Governor Josh Shapiro's book, Where We Keep the Light, Stories from a Life of Service. I bring you greetings from our 100th Mayor Sherelle L. Parker. Unfortunately, she could not join us here today. She says both her regrets for not attending, but more importantly, her sincere congratulations to her good friend, Governor Josh Shapiro.
This title, Where We Keep the Light, where'd that come from?
First off, let me just say how grateful I am for your friendship, how grateful I am for your mentorship. And I hope as you read this book, and I have to tell you how humbled I am that not only are you here, but that you're going to dedicate your time to reading this book. You will read about Pastor Mitchell. You'll read about my experiences growing up with him, my experiences at his church, and in many ways how his church brought me closer to my faith. I set out to write this book in large measure because of this privilege Lori and I feel like we have every day. This privilege of seeing goodness in the world. This privilege that, notwithstanding the noise, the darkness, and the anger that's out there, we get to visit people in their communities and see them doing extraordinary things every day. And so I set out to write this book to highlight that. About 5 months into writing this book, we were attacked in our home in Harrisburg after we had concluded our Passover Seder. That moment, darkness was brought upon us. But the real thing that we learned from that experience, Pastor, is the light that evolved and emanated from people from all different walks of life, all different faiths, all different backgrounds, all different parts of Pennsylvania and this country and the world, where goodness came out, where people prayed for us.
I think the vice president thought he was insulting you when he said you sound like Obama.
Where that came from.
I will tell you this. A number of black pastors across the country calls me and say, "What's up with your guy?" Right? And I'm like, "What do you mean, what's up?" I was like, "He is what you see he is." And they're saying there is a lilt and a cadence to him that I had not heard in a white speaker ever. And I don't think you're imitating anybody. I think you've found your voice because it's just too good. I think Obama was watching you at the Leah Coruscant. It's the nasty. Yeah, you're pretty good though. How are you getting your voice right now in these crazy, and a word that you use over and over again in this book, in the chaos? Like, it's hard to find yourself in the storm of the chaos. How are you keeping yourself and finding even new voices?
This is a challenging moment, I know for all of us. You see the news, you see something that's upsetting, and there's a tendency, I know, for folks, and I understand this, to retreat, to turn off the news. I see a lot of your heads nodding, right? To kind of pull the covers up and just sort of hope it goes away. I don't believe in that. I certainly in this job don't have the luxury of being able to do that. And so I engage. And what I try to do with each of these situations is listen to my great team, listen to other voices, and then try and find clarity. Try and find a center where I can figure out what's going on in here, and then just speak to that, and typically speak to that without notes, without a speech, without formal remarks, because I find that it is more real when you take a minute to digest the emotions of people, digest the information, process it, usually talk to Lori, and then find ways to speak to it in a really authentic way. I don't always get it right, and I certainly have missed the mark at times, but I'm someone who I think, processes this information with the benefit of my faith, with the benefit of a desire to serve all, and most importantly, and I read about this a lot in the book, the benefit of the voices I have listened to over so many years in public service who have informed the positions I've taken and informed my ability to be a compassionate soul and care for people around.
Buy this incredible book, Where We Keep the Light. Support this governor and learn from him how to live a remarkable life. We trust you with the ball in your hands. Thank you.
Thanks. Good,